All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are jumping right in to break down the seismic events shaking the Middle East after a joint U.S.-Israeli strike took out Iran's most powerful figure. This has absolutely escalated a decades-long shadow war into open conflict. So, how did the world find out about this? Not through some formal government press release, but from this incredibly blunt social media post from the U.S. president. It signals a really dramatic and personal turn in U.S.-Iran relations. And then, a short while later, confirmation came from the one place that made it undeniable, Iranian state media itself. The unthinkable had actually happened. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the man who had ruled the Islamic Republic with an iron fist for more than 30 years, was dead at 86. I mean, just like that, this single event has thrown the future of Iran into total chaos and dragged the entire region to the very brink of a much wider war. So the big question is, what happened and what comes next? Okay, let's get into it. First things first, to really grasp the magnitude of this moment, we have to understand the man at the very center of it all. He succeeded the founder of the revolution, Ayatollah Khamenei, and for over 30 decades, Khamenei had the final say on every major policy. The sheer length of that rule is so critical to understand. His death doesn't just remove a leader, it creates this massive power vacuum right at the top of the Iranian state. And the reaction on the streets of Iran, well, it tells a really complicated story. While the government declared this long period of official mourning, there were immediate reports of people actually celebrating in parts of Tehran, which just exposes the deep, deep divisions inside the country. So you have to ask, how did an operation this audacious, this high stakes, even come together? Well, the official justification reveals it was a very calculated plan. So here's the official line from the U.S. They're calling it a preemptive strike. American officials claimed they had intelligence that Iran was kicking its nuclear program back into high gear, and this whole operation was designed to stop it. President Trump also added another layer, framing it as an act of liberation for the Iranian people. But let's be clear, this wasn't just about one man. This was a decapitation strike aimed at the regime's leadership. They also killed the commander of the powerful Revolutionary Guard, a top security advisor, and even members of Khamenei's own family. The response? Well, it didn't take long. Iran immediately lashed out, igniting fires all across the region and kicking off a really dangerous new phase of this conflict. So, Iran's Revolutionary Guard vowed to unleash its most intense offensive operation ever. Everyone was holding their breath, wondering where would they hit first? The answer, it turns out, was almost everywhere. The retaliation was just massive and so widespread. Iran didn't just fire missiles at Israel. No, it launched this huge coordinated assault targeting U.S. military bases and allies across the entire Persian Gulf. Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. Suddenly, any country hosting American forces was in the crosshairs. And, of course, with this kind of escalation comes a real human cost. Iranian media reported over 100 deaths, including a really devastating strike on a girls' school. Israel reported one casualty from the incoming missiles, with several others reported in the UAE and Kuwait. Now, while the missiles were flying, something else was happening inside Iran. According to the monitoring group NetBlocks, internet connectivity just plummeted to only 4% of normal levels. It was a near total information blackout as the regime scrambled to control the story. So we've got the military side of this, but the fallout didn't stop there, not even close. The attack sent an immediate shockwave through the entire global economy. I mean, the ripple effects were just instantaneous and global. We're talking about over 1,400 flights canceled, regional stock exchanges forced to close, key airports and ports were damaged, and all of a sudden, the world's most critical energy choke point was at risk. The focus immediately snapped to this one narrow waterway, the Strait of Hormuz. Think about it. A third of all oil that's shipped by sea passes right through there. Any disruption threatens to send global energy prices skyrocketing, which affects pretty much every economy on the planet. Which all brings us to the final and most critical question. With its supreme leader gone, what is the future of the Islamic Republic? And to even begin to answer that, you have to understand the IRGC.
This isn't just an army, it's practically a parallel state. It has immense political and economic power, controlling huge parts of Iran's economy. They are the true backbone of the regime.
You know, this analysis from the Council on Foreign Relations just absolutely nails it. Killing the leader isn't the same thing as regime change. Why? Because the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is the regime, and they are still very much in control. Officially, a temporary leadership council has been put together and a formal succession process is underway. But you have to remember, this has only happened one other time, way back in 1989, and this time, it's all happening under the massive shadow of a potential all-out war. And that leaves us with the one question that's hanging over the entire world. A leader has been removed, but the powerful structure he commanded is still there. So has this unprecedented strike actually neutralized a threat, or has it just lit the fuse on a much larger, more devastating conflict? That is the answer everyone is now waiting for.